So Josephine, let's put a timestamp on today. How far are you into filming, and what exactly did you guys film today? And I want to note this is going to be embargoed, so like feel free to discuss openly like what you're going to be. Yes.
We're about 3 weeks into shooting with a 5-week schedule, and today we were doing all the Seattle hotel stuff. So it's when Tessa's on her first day of an internship at a publishing company, and she goes all the way. She's whisked off to Seattle, and she's taken out to a club, and events ensue.
Yeah. So what was the last scene you shot in After, and then what was the first scene you shot in After We Collided, to give us some perspective?
I don't know whether officially this was the last scene we shot, but the last scene we shot was the aquarium sequence of the montage.
Oh, so cute.
And the first scene that I shot in After We Collided was me standing behind a curtain reacting to something.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm a huge fan of the books. I've read all the books. I know you have as well. Have you read all of them? Or okay. So obviously, like, it's kind of more of an R rating in the books. The first film was rated PG-13. We have an R rating the second time around. Has it been tonally different on set for you now that you have an R rating in the sequel?
Yeah, and I think a lot of that is because of our director, Roger Campbell.
Amazing.
There's a lot more. There's a lot more humor in this film. There's a lot more intensity in this film. There's swearing because we're allowed to swear now because it's R-rated. So there's definitely been a tonal shift, and I think everyone's felt that.
Right. So obviously after like the major worldwide success, you guys winning your 3 Teen Choice Awards, what was the reunion like for you and Hero when you got back on set for After We Collided?
I'm trying to remember what we actually, when the first time, I can't remember if it was at the hotel or if it was at like rehearsals, but it was it was basically a hi, how you doing? It was nothing dramatic with flowers and
You're right.
And I haven't seen you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. You're like, it wasn't dramatic. We're just like, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
So obviously with the emotional events that ended in the first movie, Tessa's in a super like deeply emotional state for this sequel. So I'm wondering, like, when you and Hero are doing some of those particularly emotional scenes, when Roger yells cut, do you like immediately go back into Josephine, or do you have to like take a bit to kind of like do the downtime?
Honestly, we haven't gotten into a lot of the super emotional stuff in this film yet. So we've been lucky in that respect, but the stuff we've done so far, it's not, I don't really require like that much of a transition period. It sort of depends. Sometimes you want to stay in it if it's a really emotional scene and you're shooting it over like 12 hours, but if it's only sort of emotional when you're doing it over 2 hours.
Right.
So yeah, it's not hard to answer your question. It's not hard to like snap
back and forth.
Yeah.
Right. Well, Tessa's last question. Tessa's obviously like, she thinks she knows what she wants in life until she meets Hardin, and I'm just wondering, like, is there something about Tessa that maybe you like took with you after the filming of the first movie? Is something about her that like sticks with you?
I thought you were going to say physically. Like,
oh yeah. Did you?
No.
I don't know if you've already been asked that.
What have I taken from her? I think
like anything from maybe like Hardin's room or something, or like maybe like a wardrobe piece or something that you took.
There was a really gorgeous green slip dress that she was going to wear.
I was like, I don't remember that in the movie.
No, because she was going to wear it for one of the scenes, the wedding scenes, and it was tailor made and it was like custom fit to me, and they didn't end up using it.
They used another dress.
So I got to steal that.
Oh,
but,
perfect.
Yeah, I think that's the only. I mean, emotionally, what have I taken?
Yeah,
that's
like
probably a more interesting answer. I just maybe like her sense of confidence. I don't know. I think that's a good lesson for everyone to take. Just be who you are and don't be afraid to be yourself and make choices and
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your time. You go. I won't know that you're like, I'm so exhausted. I'm gonna get back to my like trailer and chill for the rest of the day. I'm gonna get a glass of wine myself.
I'm just so sorry we only had 4 minutes.
No, it's fine. I'm happy that you like gave me any time at all. Like, so because I know you've had like such a long day, so I really appreciate it. Yeah. No, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It was cool to interview you in your club dress. So give me a timestamp. Where are you guys today in filming? What are you going to be filming today while you're here?
I think we might be bang on halfway through. Like I think we are exactly halfway through. We're filming stuff to do with all the times where basically the first scene in which Hardin and Tessa actually see each other in the second film, when Tessa's away on a trip with Vance Publishing, on like a work trip.
Okay, so I mean, when it was announced that Roger Kumble was directing this one, Cruel Intentions is legit my favorite movie of all time.
No way.
I know everyone says that, but I'm like, no, like it is my favorite movie. So I was curious, did you pull any? I don't know if you've seen the movie, but have you seen the movie?
I saw the movie.
Okay.
I obviously knew a lot about it, and I saw it after I realized he was directing. But
Okay.
there were a lot of.
Like, do you feel like similarities between Sebastian and like Hardin at all? Or
I can see how they obviously are.
Yeah.
But I didn't obviously base anything off it or take anything away. But
Sure.
100% there are similarities between those characters.
Yeah.
But yeah, the first film was used a lot in reference when we were shooting the first
Cool.
one. Sorry, Cruel Intentions was.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was obviously very fitting to have him here for the second, with Selma as well.
Yeah. So I'm always fascinated about the makeup process an actor has to do going into filming.
Yeah.
Can you talk about like the tattoos and how long it takes to apply them? Do you get to like leave set wearing them, or do they have to be reapplied fresh every day before filming?
So now that I think of it, probably would be, if we wanted to be extra safe, I should take them off all before I go, so that no one could ever see them.
Right.
But to be honest, by the time we finish set, we just go straight back to bed anyway. There's not a lot of time to do anything. But the whole process is more about maintenance than application. Once you put them on, it takes like an hour or two. But pick up lint and they like rub away. And if you're doing a scene where there's a lot of running around or fight scene or something, they're going to come off more. So it can vary a lot, but it's a lot of time we spend doing that.
Right. So I read that you didn't necessarily read the books. Is that true?
Yeah, no, I didn't.
Okay, so I was curious, when you were reading the first script for the first film, were you just surprised at the ending, what Hardin does when when the script was given to you?
Yeah. Obviously, all great scripts are going to be full of surprises.
Yeah.
And also, we were talks about, because with the book, there's so much that goes on, you can kind of pick what bits. You have to pick what bits get in and what don't, and there's a lot of room to play. So we were always kind of aware of the ending, us being able to slightly change it as the days went, and when you're shooting, everything's different. So yeah, we had a number of slightly different endings and stuff, but I think we picked the right one.
Yes, because obviously in the movie it expands further than the book. So obviously with the events ending of the first movie, Tessa and Hardin are in this extremely emotional place. I'm just curious, when you're filming with Josephine and after those especially like intense scenes, when Roger yells cut, do you have to like take a moment to like get back into yourself, or like how do you like, what's your downtime like after those emotional scenes?
I would say, especially obviously the emotional scenes are more so like this, take more getting. If you're on a wide shot just walking, you don't, it's not as much as intense and as much of a process. But I would say it's way more about before. After, it's like a second or two, and you're listening to direction and you're you again. For me anyway, it's obviously different for everyone.
Yeah.
But it's more beforehand. It's before you start shooting that you need to get into character. And then coming back into yourself is probably more seamless.
Right. So after like the major success of the first film and like winning 3 Teen Choice Awards, which was like pretty massive. I don't know if that was like a surprise to you guys, but all the fans were like, yes!
That one I cannot thank the fans enough for,
Yeah.
because that is obviously just
amazing.
So, yeah, incredible. It's like, we really owe it to them. That's just all them. That award is to
you have
them.
some massive hardcore fans out there, man.
Yeah,
but
we
after,
do. We're lucky.
Yeah, so what was like the reunion like between you and Josephine coming back to the sequel after like the success of the first one and like, Teen Choice and everything?
I think obviously that me, Anna and Joe were promoting a lot in between, and then went back about our lives and come back again, and I felt with the same crew, same location, same everything, we come back and just kind of just like round 2, ready to go again, and this time it's just quicker and easier because we all know each other already.
Sure, yeah.
But obviously we were all happy to be back and do it again.
Obviously Wuthering Heights is an important book for Tessa and Hardin. What's that one book that's super important to you?
I really don't, and I should have a book like that, but I don't really have a specific favorite. I remember reading Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime when I was young. I remember my dad read it to me and then I reread it later. And that was really interesting to me. But I don't know why I've never like attached to reading. I grow older, and I literally said to Candice, who plays Kimberly, we were talking about a good book to just get back into reading on. And she said she hadn't for a while and read The Alchemist. And said that really got her back into reading. So I'm gonna give that a go.
Yeah, I recently just read this book called Where the Crawdads Sing. It was like on Reese Witherspoon's book club, and it was so good. I think she's like co-producing the movie. I wasn't a big reader, and like I read that, then I read the after books, and then that would be a good one.
Yeah,
it's like a good thriller, kind of like Gone Girl. I don't
yeah,
know if that's
yeah,
your thing.
Yeah. No, exactly. We were specifically talking about thrillers being the kind of book I'd want to.
Then maybe you'd like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give it a go.
All right. Well, thank you. This
Thank
was
you so
awesome.
much.